Hey, everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. I want to talk about the auto industry and the lack of health in the auto industry. We're going to talk specifically about a vehicle I went and checked out the other day, the Corvette C8 Z06. Baby. I can't believe what Corvette did. And this isn't going to be specifically about the Z06, but we're going to use it as an example. Corvette has completely turned the tide when it comes to the power plant, the way that power plant sits, and the way the power plant and the car looks. It absolutely has taken Lamborghini and Ferrari by surprise. And quite frankly, I think it's very monumental as far as this is a race to make the best car in the world. Literally, it blows me away on the track, all that stuff. It's just absolutely amazing. Well, here's the problem. And there's a big problem. Normally, cars start selling, the next year's model starts selling in the fall, right? People are pre-purchasing, they're showing up at dealers and they're selling them. I went down to a dealer the other day and I was talking about the C8. I was looking at the power plant, I'm looking at all the numbers, the track results, and all that kind of stuff. I love cars. Just, I really like cars. Been a car guy since I was young, and I was always a Ferrari guy. And many of you know my story about buying a Ferrari when I was young. Saving up for it when I was in my early 20s. And Corvette has absolutely turned my eye. I never really considered Corvettes. I thought they were great, cool cars. I did own a Corvette when I was younger for a brief time, but this Corvette absolutely dropped my jaw. Now, I go into a dealership and I'm talking to them. I said, look, I was just, plugging away on the computer trying to get some information on the Z06, and I can't order it. It's unavailable. And I noticed a press release just came out last month, and they said, we are unable to start taking orders until 2023 for the 2023 Z06 version of the C8. And I read deeper into it, and they said the reason why they're doing this, the one thing that's really, really bugging me about this, and this is what I want to share with you, is they said we need to hold off. And not only, we need to get all of the parts. We need to know that as the orders start flooding in, that we have all the parts to be able to meet the demand of the consumer. And this is something that's very interesting because not a lot of people are looking at this. Just recently, Ford announced another 3,000 layoffs of both white collar and contract employees. But that's not the first time they've been laying off. They've been laying off over the last year employees. Why? Because they can't build the cars. They literally have a ton of vehicles. I believe the F-Series trucks are still thousands of them sitting in lots right now because they couldn't be completed because of the chip shortage. Well, the problem is when there's no inventory to sell, there's going to be very serious issues with the car manufacturers. And I believe that Corvette understands that. They're trying to deal with it. We've seen in the past where certain companies, and GM being one of them, saying, hey, you know what, this holding back of production, we're getting this great dollar amount over MSRP. Everybody's making money. We're selling less cars. It's almost bringing this extra value, right? Because they're rare and the consumer's panicking because they have to have their hands on it. So they go out and they're raising these prices. But the problem is, not only now do you have less vehicles that you can sell, right, to make profit, to keep your company going, but now you have the added problem that the consumer is absolutely tapped out. They're tapped out and they cannot spend any more money. Now, with that being said, I went into that one dealer last week and they were charging $40,000 to $50,000 over MSRP for a upgraded, the LT3 version of the C8. And it had sold within a week of being in the dealer. Absolute crazy. I would never spend a dime over MSRP on a car. I don't care how cool the car is. I will be patient and want it to the price come back to me. Well, here's the problem. Those prices are starting to dramatically fall. Now, I went to a dealer a couple weeks back, went on a test drive. I was checking it out, and the C8 was they were charging MSRP for it. They got it. They figured it out. But it still doesn't stop the problem when we're talking about the new upgraded version and the company itself cannot produce them or actually release them in a proper time frame, which is normal because of the supply chain issues. I think that in the next year, you are going to see so many issues in the car market when we're talking about the actual manufacturer of these cars, because they are going to be hemorrhaging money because they're trying to keep their workforce, they're trying to keep their tooling going, stay tooled up and be able to make these cars. But without just a simple product, they are not going to be able to sell that car to pay the bills, to pay their employees, and they're having to lay them off, which will only exacerbate the recession that we're currently in. So I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's very, very interesting, very dynamic times right now, where a car company absolutely crushed the competition with an amazing design, just took Lamborghini and Ferrari and dropped their jaws when it comes to not only track time, but I mean, just everything, just to be able to buy that much horsepower and have it have a 1 in the front of the number, right? And yet they can't build them. They can't even sell them they can't even scale. That's what absolutely blows my mind. So give me in the comment section what you think about this. Do you think that we're going to see big trouble ahead for Chevy, for General Motors? Are we going to see trouble for other manufacturers like Toyota that's really having to scale back their manufacturing? I mean, how long is it going to take before they start closing plants because they simply can't make the product? All right, guys, that being said, I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.